More drama tonight surrounding the potential sale of JEA. The General Counsel is now drafting a subpoena to be delivered to JEA's CEO. This comes after the mayor's chief officer and JEA's CEO declined to speak under oath today. Shelby Danielson has exclusive details tonight on the timeline of events and people surrounding JEA.
Contrary to the rumors that you're hearing and being told, there is no deal to sell the JEA right now. Certainly not out of my office.
The mayor's message is clear when it comes to the potential sale of JEA.
I don't have an opinion on the sale of the JEA. I think that it's important that we know the value, not we, the taxpayers know the value of their assets.
So why are city council members so upset? It's the questions of who knew what and when.
There's no action being taken right now.
Back in December, the city finance department asked several financial companies to essentially send in their resumes for a job. That process is called a request for proposal, or RFP. That request went out without the knowledge of the council, which isn't the way it's historically been done. The goal of that RFP was to find out who would be the best at researching the potential for the lease, sale, or disposition of city assets. JEA is not specifically mentioned, nor is it excluded. That's important because the mayor's office says those bids were for Jacksonville's bridges, roadways, the seaport, and airport. But the mayor's office says no public records exist to back up those claims. However, they do emphasize that it was not for JEA. Something Council Auditor Kyle Billy contradicts in this email when he says the RFP appears to solicit bids to purchase JEA. He then makes those bids public. The mayor's chief financial officer, Mike Weinstein, responds to Billy saying, "Your premise and opinions are totally incorrect, and I am extremely disappointed in you." But Billy found other aspects odd, too, that he put in that original email, saying, "I thought it was unusual because it appears to be a City of Jacksonville RFP, but the responses were not coming to the city." Well, that's because those bids were sent to PFM, a consulting firm in Orlando, the same firm JEA hired to tell them how much it is worth. So that's part of how we got here. Now for a look at the timeline of the who, what, where, and when. November 11th, two lobbyists who formerly worked for the mayor's office visit JEA. On November 28th, Tom Petway announces he's leaving his post as JEA board chair and recommends JEA be sold. 1 month later is when those bids for city assets are requested. Again, remember, that was unbeknownst to city council members. 1 day later, Michael Mace visits JEA. Now, Mace is a major character. He's the managing director for PFM, the company JEA hired for that valuation. Mace pays JEA another visit on January 23rd and then again on the 24th. This time he's joined by Mike Weinstein, the CFO for the mayor's office, and a senior leadership team from a banking investment firm called Moelis. Immediately after their meeting at JEA, the Moelis team heads over to City Hall for a meeting with Mayor Curry, according to his calendar. Leading up to that meeting, First Coast News uncovered emails between JEA, Moelis, and PFM discussing conference calls. Well, in response to our questions about their interactions with JEA, Moelis tells us no comment. 2 days after the Moelis meeting, Weinstein visits JEA again, this time with the mayor's chief of staff, Brian Hughes. They meet with JEA's chief financial officer. 1 hour later, they meet with JEA's board chair, Alan Howard. After all of that has taken place, it isn't until February when council members start to learn about the potential sale of JEA. On February 14th is when Michael Mace presents that valuation report. Remember him? He's the one with PFM. You may remember that meeting from this heated interaction between Anna Brochet and Mayor Curry.
No, I'm not recognizing the mayor. I'm not recognizing the mayor.
But before that meeting, Mace visited JEA, and so did the mayor's CFO, Weinstein, clocking in 4 times at JEA that morning. This time, Weinstein used an issued JEA access badge so he didn't have to sign in. First Coast News requested his badge details. They show he clocked into JEA 13 times in February. In the midst of all this, council members are concerned about trust within City Hall.
Weird. I think one of my colleagues mentioned putting the cart before the horse.
It is definitely the mayor's agenda. it's unfortunate that we're even in this position to begin with.
First Coast News has asked for answers from the mayor's office, as well as interviews with the city's finance department and the mayor's staff. The mayor's office says they're still processing our requests and provided this statement. Members of this administration meet with agencies throughout this city on a myriad of topics and citizen needs. The mayor, Mr. Hughes, Mr. Weinstein, and Mr. Musa are no exception and manage their calendars to fulfill the responsibilities held in their respective roles. Shelby Danielson, First Coast News, on your side.
Now, City Council's special committee to investigate JEA has until the end of June to process their findings. That's when Anna Brochet's time as president is up. Councilman Aaron Bowman has the most pledges to be the next president. He has not told us how he'll handle JEA yet.